My son's heartwarming choice. I'd rather lose my mother than my wife. A life-changing revelation. Jack stared out the window of his modest garage, watching the sun dip behind the neat rows of houses in his suburban neighborhood. A slow burn built in his chest as he thought about the life he had built with Sarah. She had recently received a job offer from a prestigious law firm, an opportunity that could lift them up and make their dreams of a better life real. Yet, just as everything seemed to fall into place, a cloud loomed over them. His mother, Clara, was sick. Clara had raised Jack alone after his father walked out. Now, she needed him more than ever. The days blended into one another, marked by tension simmering in their small living room. Jack felt the weight of his mother's expectations weighing heavily on him, listening to her fears about being forgotten if Sarah took that leap. "You can't leave," Clara would whisper urgently, her voice barely above a crackle. "What if I need you?" He wanted to scream that he needed his wife to shine too. Instead, he found himself wearing a mask of calm, feeling each passing moment stretch tighter. It was a tightrope walk between love and obligation, and with every visit to Clara, he felt himself slipping. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Jack's mind spiraled as Clara's demands grew. Each hospital visit chipped away at the warm glow of excitement he felt for Sarah's new opportunity. He recalled the heart-to-heart chats with Clara, her lessons on duty and sacrifice, the love that was supposed to bind their little family together. It gnawed at him. Could he let go of one for the other? An evening brought everything to a head. Jack had planned a quiet dinner for Sarah to celebrate her new job, her eyes sparkling with dreams. But Clara's illness intruded once again. The phone rang, another late-night call to help Clara. "I can't keep this up," Jack said, his chest tight with anxiety, as he returned home only to find Sarah's smile dimmed to a flicker. The warmth in her eyes had turned to worry. "Jack, is she going to be okay?" she asked, her voice trembling. The question hung like a lead weight. He felt an impending wave of despair crashing over him. The two women he loved were now at odds, pulling him in opposite directions. With tension suffocating the room, Jack stood, heart pounding like a drum. "We need to talk," he said, summoning every ounce of courage. As his family gathered, the air thick with uncertainty, Jack realized the truth. Commitment isn't just about what we keep hold of, sometimes, it's about knowing when to let go. The moment was here, and he could feel their hopes hanging in the balance. The room fell into silence as whispers of fear encased them, preparing for his heartwarming choice, that could change the fabric of their lives forever. Jack's heart raced as he felt the weight of silence pressing in around him. Clara, frail and tired, sat on the couch, her eyes searching his for answers he wasn't quite sure he had. Sarah stood against the counter, arms crossed tightly, lips pursed, echoing a silent plea for understanding. It was a standoff, a raw moment filled with emotion that threatened to spill over. "I don't have to choose, do I?" Jack asked, his voice barely above a whisper. He wanted to reach out to both of them, but it felt impossible. Each woman represented a piece of his heart, a different kind of love, and an equally nagging sense of responsibility. Yet here they were, caught in a lopsided triangle of need and loyalty. Clara's gaze sharpened. "Jack, I raised you. I made sacrifices for you. How can you even think about leaving me?" Sarah's face fell, hurt flashing across her features. "I'm not asking you to leave her. I just need you to support me. This job means everything to me, and I thought you would be proud." "I am proud," Jack shouted, the words escaping like a dam that was finally cracking. "But I'm also scared. Scared for you, scared for her, scared for us. I don't know how to make everyone happy. I'm torn." As the words hung in the air, the heaviness slowly shifted. Jack ran a shaky hand through his hair, feeling the raw edge of emotion still lurking beneath the surface. The wall he built around his heart was crumbling, brick by brick. "I see you both," he said, softer now. "Mom, I love you. You've always been my rock. But Sarah, you're my present, my future. You have dreams, and they matter too." The room crackled with intensity, and Clara's face softened, a mixture of realization and pain overtaking her features. She took a deep breath, putting a hand to her chest as if steadying a sudden surge of ache. "I'm not trying to hold you back, Jack. But I can't help being scared of losing you. I'm vulnerable. I know. I can't imagine how hard this is for you." "But I feel vulnerable too," Jack said, feeling the tears prick at his eyes. The honesty poured out of him like a broken faucet. "If we don't talk about how we feel, we could lose each other forever." As Jack spoke, a tense stillness loomed like a fragile thread ready to snap. Sarah stepped forward, her eyes glistening. "Jack, I want us both to thrive. I can't bear the thought of you feeling trapped. This job will let us grow together, and I want you by my side." Clara turned towards Sarah, the weight of expectation seeming to lift slightly. "I didn't mean to make you feel less than my son's wife. I just thought I'd always be his priority." The air felt electric as both women reached for Jack. In that moment, everything was uncertain, raw, and painfully beautiful. Each shared glance whispered hope, understanding, and above all, love for him. Jack's heart was a tempest, swirling with confusion but starting to find clarity. He took a step closer, pulling them both into an embrace, feeling their warmth envelop him. It was the kind of moment that made him realize love often requires softening edges and opening the heart. But as the moment stretched, a sudden thought struck Jack. What if he couldn't do this alone? What if the looming challenges were far greater than any of them anticipated? As he pulled back, looking at their faces, he knew the conversation was far from over. He felt it deep in his gut, the emotional battle of love and responsibility was just beginning. "Maybe it's time we find help," he said, voice steady but eyes filled with questions. "We can get through this together. But it's going to take all of us," and as the words slipped from his lips, he could sense the shift in the room, a collective exhale, but uncertainty loomed large. What help would they need, and could they truly navigate this complex maze together? The heaviness of Jack's words lingered in the air, glowing with potential yet laced with fear. Clara's eyes, clouded with apprehension, darted between her son and Sarah, while the kitchen clock ticked steadily, reminding them of the fleeting time they had to make a decision. "Help?" Clara echoed, her voice trembling. "What kind of help exactly are you talking about?" "I don't know," Jack admitted, feeling the weight of the moment. "Maybe a counselor? Someone who understands these kinds of family dynamics?" He searched their faces for some hint of acceptance. "I can't just hand you over to someone else," Clara murmured, the rawness of her emotions rising to the surface. "I've always been your anchor. I know you need to build your own life, Jack, but it scares me. I can't help but feel like I'm losing you." Sarah stepped in. "It's not about losing anyone, Mom. It's about gaining clarity so we can all understand each other better. I love Jack and I want him to thrive, and that means having a strong relationship with you too." There was fire in Sarah's voice, a determination that Jack admired and needed to ground him. But Clara shook her head slightly, her grip on the couch tightening. "And what if it doesn't work out? What if he just ends up choosing you?" "I'm not ready for that." Jack took a step forward, kneeling at her feet, gripping her hands. "Mom, I need you to trust me. Trust that my love for you doesn't fade just because I want to support my wife. I want us to find a way to have both of you in my life." Tears brimmed in Clara's eyes, and Jack could feel a vice around his own heart. "It's not that simple, Jack." Her voice cracked like glass. "You're my son. I've devoted my life to you. I can't just turn that off." "No one is asking you to turn it off," Jack said, frustration bubbling. "But we can't keep living in this pain. We need to show each other love and understanding. That's the only way forward." He looked up, meeting Clara's gaze, which was now a turbulent sea of worry and love, and then turned to Sarah. "What are you willing to fight for, Sarah? What is the solution you see?" Sarah's demeanor softened as she reflected, her vulnerability sharpening the edges of her resolve. "I want to fight for us, Jack. For our future. I don't want a relationship dominated by fear or resentment. We can't build a life on that." Jack squeezed Clara's hand tighter, searching for a glimmer of hope in her expression. "If we lean into this together, we can build something stronger. We're not losing anyone, we're just redefining our connections. Isn't that worth it?" Clara hesitated, grappling with her fear but slowly nodding. "I just don't want to be alone," she whispered, tears now freely spilling. "You won't be alone, I promise," Jack said, feeling resolute. "We can make this work." As the tension eased slightly, the three of them sat intertwined in a fragile truce, a resolution that still felt clouded with uncertainty, but at least it felt like a step toward healing. But just as they began to breathe a little easier, Jack's phone buzzed loudly on the counter, jolting them back to reality. It was a message from his boss, a prelude to a meeting that could change everything about Sarah's career. "I have to take this," Jack said, his heartbeat quickening. As he read the message, panic bubbled up inside him. Could this be the news that would thrust them into chaos again? "Everything okay?" Clara asked, worry etching her features anew. Jack nodded, but inside, he felt the ominous weight of impending decisions bearing down on him. "Yeah, I just think more changes are on the horizon." What had he gotten himself into? What awaited them all on the other side of this meeting? Could he really balance love, loyalty, and newfound responsibilities? Clenching his phone, Jack glanced at both women, uncertainty mingling with hope in his heart. Jack's heart raced as he stared at the screen, the message from his boss reading like a lifeline and a noose all at once. A promotion. It sounded so glamorous, yet he knew the implications were heavy. The job came with more demands and less time. His mind spiraled with questions. How would Sarah fit into all of this? And what about his mother? "I can't keep running from what's important," he muttered under his breath, though nobody seemed to hear him. Clara's voice pulled him back. "What is it?" She probed, her expression a mixture of concern and curiosity. Jack hesitated, weighing the options in his head. Should he share the news now, or wait until after their talk? It's nothing major," he finally said, forcing a smile. It felt like a lie, but he also knew they needed to stay focused on this moment, on each other. Jack looked at Sarah, who was trying to decipher his expression. Her brow furrowed in inquiry, and he wished he could articulate everything that swirled around in his head. They had just agreed to step into healing, and now his work threatened to overshadow that effort. Clara's eyes lingered on him. "You're not being honest, Jack," she pressed gently, but there was steel behind her softness, a mother's instinct to know when her child's heart was in turmoil. "It's just work." "Let us not worry about that right now, Mom," he replied, keeping his tone light but firm. He wanted to protect the fragile peace they'd just built. Instead of pushing further, Clara nodded, though Jack could see the worry etched deeper into her features. Was he making it worse by neglecting his responsibilities? The question buzzed in his mind, a constant refrain. He wanted to be there for Sarah, for Clara, everyone he loved, but he felt pulled in every direction, like a rubber band stretching dangerously close to its breaking point. "Okay," Sarah broke the silence, her voice soft, but resolute. "We can't let work separate us. It's just a job, Jack. Remember that." Her eyes twinkled with a mix of confidence and reassurance, like she was holding on to something that felt sacred. "But jobs matter," he countered softly. "They help build our lives. They demand things from us." The hesitation in his voice revealed his fear of losing the connection he was finally starting to reshape. Clara inhaled deeply, her hands clasped in her lap. "What is happening, Jack? I need to understand. I don't want what's between us to be contingent on anything else. I want you to feel safe sharing with me." Jack felt exposed under her loving gaze. I'm scared too, Mom. But we're all in this together. He glanced back at Sarah, who nodded as if to reaffirm his words. What's next for us? Clara asked, her voice softening, growing more vulnerable. That's what I want to find out, Jack said, each word a firm promise. But as he returned to the thoughts of the meeting, deep down he sensed that choices lay ahead, drastically altering their circumstances. Jack pulled his phone from the counter, staring at it one last time. I think I can handle the pressures at work, but I don't want to sacrifice our time together. I need to prioritize what matters. The gravity of his words hung in the air, permeating the space they stood in. Clara's face morphed into clarity as realization washed over her, the weight of what they'd been through settling around them like an invisible blanket. For us to move forward, Jack, Sarah said gently, you have to know your choices reflect not just on your job, but on us. What sacrifices are you willing to make? The question resonated, and all the air in the room felt heavy. Could it be true that there were things he would have to let go of for this family to breathe again? Just as he was about to respond, another buzz from his phone shattered the stillness, pulling him back to reality. It was a follow-up message from his boss, one that demanded an answer. Looks like I don't have much time, Jack muttered, heart racing anew. 2 paths lay before him, heated and raw. Would he risk everything for the sake of peace, or was it too late to turn back? Jack? Sarah asked, her voice laced with urgency. What are you going to do? In that moment, he realized the decisions made would not only change his life but would also reshape the connections that mattered most. With every nerve in his body alive, he knew he was on the cusp of a defining choice. Could he truly navigate this maze of love, loyalty, and responsibility? Jack's eyes flicked nervously between his phone and the faces of the 2 women he loved most in the world. The weight of the choices ahead felt crushing. A part of him wanted to simply toss the phone away, drown out the noise of responsibility, and focus on the precious moment of connection he had with Sarah and Clara. But that pesky sound, the buzz of his boss's message, gripped him tighter. It reminded him that life didn't pause for heart-to-hearts. It demanded decisions and sacrifices, even at the most inconvenient times. He swallowed hard, the words suddenly lodged in his throat. He could feel the urgency in Sarah's eyes urging him to make a choice. I need more time to think, he finally admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. Clara nodded, but the worry on her face intensified, as if she could see seconds slipping away. Time is a luxury we don't have, Jack. Your job is important, yes, but we are important, too. Don't forget that. Jack could feel tears threatening to spill onto the surface. This was no longer just about a promotion, it was about love, connection, and the threads that bound their little family together. How could he explain to them that he was afraid he might not be able to juggle it all? Maybe I'm just not ready for the promotion, he mused aloud, attempting to find clarity in his swirling chaos. I never wanted to feel torn like this. Sarah reached for his hand, squeezing it gently. You can recalibrate your life, Jack. Just because you have a job to do doesn't mean it has to consume your every moment. We can shape this together. Her words felt like a soothing balm, but doubt crept in. How can I be certain the pressure won't pull me away from you? He countered, a hint of desperation in his voice. What if I become that guy who finally makes it but loses everything that truly matters along the way? Then you need to be honest with yourself, Sarah said earnestly, her gaze unwavering. It was as though she was holding up a mirror, and he could see the flicker of his fears and hopes reflected back at him. Your life doesn't have to revolve around your work. You can pursue your career without losing sight of what's truly important. Is that really possible? He wondered aloud, the question hanging heavy in the air. So many people he had seen throughout his life seemed to have it all figured out, their perfect illusions simply masking the chaos beneath. Clara's hands tightened around her own, an uncharacteristic nervousness spreading across her face. Jack, this is your journey too. You can choose how it unfolds. Remember, a job doesn't define you, and it's okay to let go of the idea that a promotion equals success. Maybe I need to talk to my boss, Jack said, feeling a surge of hope. Let him know where I stand before diving in. Good, Sarah smiled softly, and in that moment, it felt like the light returned. Everything didn't seem so daunting anymore. They could face this together. Then, a sudden knock on the door startled them, echoing through the household like a clap of thunder. Jack's stomach dropped as he wondered who it could be. Why did it feel like a disturbance in the fragile discussions they'd just begun to navigate? Are you expecting someone? Sarah asked, her tone laced with curiosity and concern. No, Jack said cautiously, rising to his feet. As he approached the door, his heart hammered against his ribcage. This wasn't just a test of their resolve, it felt like a reckoning. He opened the door, and the sight that greeted him was anything but expected. A figure stood there, tense and anxious, their face a mixture of urgency and hope that made Jack's breath catch. Jack, we need to talk. The familiar voice exclaimed, sending a shiver down his spine. And in that moment, Jack knew that life as he knew it was about to change forever. What lay on the other side of that door could either tear their fragile peace apart or forge a new beginning. Would he be ready to face it? Jack's breath caught in his throat, his instincts firing on all cylinders. As he stood frozen in the doorway, the familiar face of his estranged brother, Ethan, stared back at him with an intensity that shattered the moment of peace he'd just begun to cultivate with Sarah and Clara. Ethan? Jack finally managed to say, disbelief flooding his voice. What was he doing here? The last time they'd spoken, it had been laced with months of silence and unresolved tension. I know this isn't the best time. Ethan trailed off, his eyes darting past Jack, catching glimpses of Sarah and Clara in the background. But I need your help. It's about Mom. Jack's heart sank. The mention of their mother, aware of her recent health struggles, felt like a heavy stone lodged in his chest. What about her? He pressed, trying to maintain a composed facade. Ethan opened his mouth to speak, but the words caught, filling the air with desperation. Finally, he let out a shaky breath. She's not doing well, Jack. The doctors say we might not have much time left. I think she's getting worse. A rush of conflicting emotions surged within Jack. Guilt. Anger. Pain. It swirled around him like a tempest, picking at all the unresolved bitterness he had felt toward their mother and the strained relationship he had with Ethan. They had all fought so hard to heal, but could they really come together now, with the clock ticking? Why did you wait so long to tell me? Jack's voice trembled with a mix of frustration and sorrow. Ethan flinched as if struck. I didn't want to drag you into this. You've got your own family, your own life, but I can't do this alone. Mom needs us both. Jack turned slightly, looking back at Sarah, whose expression had immediately shifted to one of concern. She could see the battle unfolding within him, the struggle to navigate familial loyalty while keeping the threads of his own family intact. Clara's hand was on Sarah's shoulder, silently grounding them both as if offering support, but Jack felt the weight of it all. Jack, Ethan urged, his voice quieter now, more vulnerable. I know things are complicated between us. But this isn't about us. It's about Mom. She deserves our support, our love, even now. Jack looked back at Ethan, and despite the years of disappointment, he recognized a raw honesty in his brother's eyes. There was a flicker of desperation that made Jack's heart ache. What can I do? He eventually asked, his voice steadier than he felt inside. Just tell me what you need. Ethan's shoulders sagged in relief. I need you to come with me. To talk to her. She has been asking about you, and he caught his breath, urgency threading through his words. I think, for her to see us together again, it might make a difference. As Jack weighed his brother's request, a deeper understanding began to take shape within him. Family wasn't always easy, sometimes it meant confronting pain, even when it was wrapped in the complexities of love and past hurt. He could feel Sarah's unwavering support behind him, her presence a reminder that strength could be found in unity. But now came the crunch time. If he left with Ethan, would he be abandoning the once-in-a-lifetime moment he was building with the two women he cherished most? Or would he be finally stepping into a role he had avoided for far too long? Jack, Sarah's voice broke through his thoughts, gentle yet firm. You know what you have to do. No one will ever take away what we have here. You can support Mom without losing us. Her words hung there, wrapping him in the warmth of her faith in him. A stirring of hope ignited in Jack's chest, battling against the turmoil. Without another thought, he whispered, "Let us go." As he stepped outside, merging his worries and hopes with Ethan, the door of his home swung shut behind him. He was leaving one part of his life in search of another, understanding that healing required not just personal sacrifices but also a willingness to face the chaos head-on. What would await him on the other side of the door of his mother's house? Would he find connection or more? Heartbreak? The thought quickened his pulse as they walked together, bound by blood but weighed down by history. The journey was just beginning. The drive to their mother's house felt like an eternity for Jack. The two brothers sat in silence, the tension between them thick enough to cut. Jack stared out of the window, watching the familiar streets blur by their childhood neighborhood, the park where they had played, and the little grocery store on the corner. Memories rushed to the surface, bittersweet and filled with ghosts of laughter and anger. Ethan broke the silence first. "I should have told you sooner. I thought I was protecting you, protecting Mom." "I don't need protecting," Jack replied, his voice sharper than he intended. He immediately regretted it, seeing the way his brother's face tightened. "Look, it's okay. We're both just figuring out how to do this." Ethan nodded, his shoulders dropping slightly. "Yeah, I just hope it's not too late." "She's been scared." I could hear it in her voice. Jack clenched his fists in his lap, feeling the weight of guilt settle back in. Would they be able to help their mother when they couldn't even help each other? As they pulled up to the house, Jack's heart raced. Memories flooded his mind, moments of joy tangled with anger, a lifetime of family gatherings now overshadowed by unresolved issues. He glanced at Ethan. "Are you sure you want to do this? Can't you feel it?" Ethan's brow furrowed. "She needs us, it's the least we can do." With a deep breath, Jack followed his brother up the creaky front steps. Each step brought old memories rushing back, fights over trivial things, fights that led to long silences. He paused at the door, feeling the threshold as a barrier to everything he had tried to leave behind. When Ethan opened the door, the familiar scent of home hit Jack hard, mixed with the fading perfume of their mother. The living room looked the same, but it felt emptier somehow. Time had taken its toll. "Mom?" Ethan called out, his voice breaking the silence. "Here, honey," came the weak response from the back of the house. Jack's heart pounded harder as they moved toward the sound, their footsteps echoing on the old wooden floor. A flood of emotion surged within him. Would he find a frail woman in need of their support or a ghost of the mother he remembered? As they entered the room, Jack almost staggered. Their mother lay in a hospital bed, tiny and frail, her once vibrant spirit dulled by sickness. Her face lit up momentarily when she saw them. "Jack." "Ethan." She smiled, her voice trembling with warmth and weakness. "You both came. I was so afraid you wouldn't." The sight of her caused an unexpected swell of tenderness in Jack. How could they have drifted so far? He stepped closer, the surge of unresolved feelings colliding with the deep-seated instinct to protect. "Mom," he said softly, "I'm here." Ethan moved closer, taking her hand gently. "We're here, Mom. We'll figure it out together," he said, his voice steady. As they stood there, Jack felt something shift. Perhaps this was the moment. Perhaps through this frail woman, they could finally heal the rift that had kept them apart for so long. "Jack, I need you," their mother said, her voice barely above a whisper. The weight of her words settled between them, fragile but potent. Jack met Ethan's gaze, and for the first time in a long time, they weren't just brothers bound by pain but allies in their mother's fight. He could feel Sarah's warmth behind him, a reminder of the strength love can provide, even in the darkest moments. "I'm here for you," Jack whispered, his voice steady. "We're all here." As the warmth of these words settled into the room, Jack realized the fight for their mother was not just about healing old wounds but also forging a new path, stitched together with newfound hope. But in the depths of his heart, doubt began to rise. Could they withstand the storm of emotions ahead? What if the confrontation led to more heartache than healing? The questions lingered in the air like an unwelcome specter as they gathered closer, preparing for what lay ahead. Would they succeed in mending their mother and themselves, or would the journey unearth more than they bargained? 4. Jack felt the weight of the room pressing down on him. Their mother's breaths were shallow, each one a reminder of the frailty they faced. He could hear Ethan's heartbeat rising in tandem with the tension, a rhythm echoing the uncertainty that had settled among them. "How are you feeling, Mom?" Jack asked, his voice barely rising above a whisper. Each word felt heavy, as if it carried the weight of his regret and longing for connection. "I'm hanging on," she replied, a fragile smile touching her lips. "Just tired, my boys. It means everything to see you both here." Jack glanced at Ethan, whose expression mirrored his own conflict. This was a moment they had longed for, yet it felt like they had stepped into a minefield of unspoken truths and sorrow. Memories of long conversations that never happened and years wasted rolled through his mind. It hurt. Ethan squeezed their mother's hand tighter. "We're going to be with you, Mom. We'll take care of everything." But Jack knew better. Would care be enough? If their mother's illness had taught them anything, it was how unpredictable life could be. Would the support they offered be enough to bridge the rifts, or merely a temporary fix for deeper wounds? "Boys," she looked at them with eyes that held both love and fear. "What I need you to promise me something." "What is it, Mom?" Jack leaned closer, sensing a shift in the air. It was time for something real. "Promise me you'll look after each other." Her voice was firm despite its frailty. "I've held you both under this roof, and I don't want to see you drift apart when I'm gone." Jack felt a knot tighten in his throat. The thought of losing her was suffocating. "No, stop. You're not going anywhere. We're here," he said fiercely, almost pleadingly. Ethan, usually the calmer one, rubbed his eyes, revealing the tenderness beneath the facade. "Mom, we'll do whatever it takes. We'll figure out how to fix things. We owe you that. To be united, for you." Tears pooled in their mother's eyes. "I love you both. More than you could ever know. But love isn't always enough to fix everything." Jack's heart dropped. Her words struck a chord. The love they shared had always been there, but the moments of anger and silence left scars that felt insurmountable. Could they really mend what felt irreparably broken? "Listen, Mom, whatever comes next, we'll handle it together. Just like we always should be," Jack said, resolve building within him. "Let us be honest with each other. No more hiding." Ethan nodded, his expression a mix of hope and fear. "Yeah. No more pretending." Jack looked into his mother's eyes, searching for a sign, a glimmer that they might find their way. "If we're going to be okay, we need to share everything. Memories, regrets, everything." As their mother nodded slowly, the weight of the air shifted. It was the beginning of something. They were teetering at the edge of potential healing, yet Jack felt the urgency grow. The emotions bubbling beneath the surface were ready to erupt. "Mom." Jack hesitated. He needed to ask. "Is there something you haven't told us? Something we need to know to really be there for you?" The room fell silent, the question hanging as they all held their breaths. His heart pounded in his chest, and he felt Ethan stiffen beside him. The air was thick with anticipation. But as their mother opened her mouth, would she say the words that might unravel the thread holding them together, or would she lead them toward the healing they desperately sought? The moment stretched, and Jack realized that the answers they craved might unlock the door to a family they had lost along the way. But would the truth bring them closer, or would it push them further apart? The silence hung heavy in the room, an unyielding weight that felt like it might crush them all. Jack's heart raced as he searched his mother's face, desperate for courage. "Mom," Ethan said softly, breaking the spell. Whatever it is, we can handle it. We've been through so much together. Their mother took a breath, her brow furrowed with the effort. It seemed impossible for her to draw in air and speak at the same time, but she was determined. There are things I've kept from you. Things I thought would protect you. Jack's palms grew clammy. He shifted on his feet, bracing for the revelations to come. I should have told you long ago it's about your father. Her eyes glistened with unspilled tears. He wasn't the man you thought he was, boys. Not in the end. Jack's pulse quickened. He felt Ethan stiffen beside him, the tension coiling tighter. What do you mean? Jack asked, his voice strained. There were choices he made that hurt this family. Choices that left scars deeper than I could ever mend, she confessed, each word trembling with the weight of years. I didn't want you to be angry with him. I didn't want you to feel hate. So I stayed silent. Jack's throat constricted. Memories flooded back, hushed arguments, the broken bottles, the way shadows lurked behind his father's eyes. Is that why things got so out of hand? Why you two? He couldn't finish the sentence. He didn't want to admit that the reality of their family was finally crashing down around him. Yes. I thought I could shield you both. I thought love would be enough to cover the cracks, but the truth has a way of seeping through. Her voice wavered, a fragile sound echoing the hurt she carried. He wasn't always the monster you imagined. There were good days, and I wanted to hold on to those. Ethan turned away, rubbing his temples. Jack wanted to reach out, to grab hold of his brother and pull him back from the edge of despair. But what happened? How did it all fall apart? There was an affair, she whispered, barely audible, as if saying the words aloud might shatter what was left. It broke him, Jack. And it broke us. The confession hung between them like a heavy mist. Jack felt his breath stop, all the anger and betrayal swirling inside him, threatening to spill out. Why wouldn't you tell us sooner? That changes everything. I thought it would spare you pain, she cried. But holding on to secrets did the opposite. I have prayed for forgiveness every day. For you both to find peace. I should never have made that choice for you. Jack clenched his fists, grappling with the surge of emotions coursing through him. Pain, anger, and a flicker of understanding. And now? What do we do with this? I don't know. The weariness in her voice cut deeper than any knife. But it's your choice. To let the truth bind you closer or tear you apart. Jack exchanged a glance with Ethan. The weight of their mother's words hung thick in the air. It was raw. It was chaotic. And yet, it was real. Mom, we love you, Jack said finally, faltering but standing his ground. No matter what he did. We need to face this together. But we have to be honest, too. Not just with each other, but with ourselves. Tears streamed down their mother's cheek, and in that moment, he felt the chasm that had divided them begin to bridge. I want that, Ethan said, his voice steady. Let us not let this destroy us. Jack inhaled, a spark of hope igniting in the depths of despair. Could they really rise from this? Could love and truth rebuild the family they so desperately sought? As they held on to each other, united in their grief but also in their resolve, Jack realized the road ahead was still long and full of unknowns. But he couldn't turn back now. What if this is just the beginning? He thought, feeling a new resolve take root inside him. The truth had broken open old wounds, but it might also heal. They were on the brink of something incredible or something catastrophic. Just as uncertainty loomed, a knock sounded on the door, jolting them from their thoughts. Who is it? Jack called out, heart pounding, wondering if this next moment would lead them further into the light or deeper into the dark. With every heartbeat, the room tensed around Jack. The knock echoed again, a muffled sound that seemed to pry at the fabric of their fragile moment. Seriously? Jack muttered, glancing at Ethan and their mother. We just got here. Can't we have one moment of calm? Whoever it is, just let them in, Clara said softly, the strength in her voice a comforting reminder of the battle they had embarked upon together. With a hesitant nod, Jack opened the door. His heart skipped when he saw a familiar face. It was Sarah, her expression a mixture of concern and determination. She looked between him, Ethan, and their mother, her brow furrowing deeply. Jack, she started, but her voice faltered at the sight of Clara. Sarah, Clara said, her voice filled with warmth that made it feel like home. I'm glad you're here. I thought you might need support, Sarah continued, stepping inside, but her gaze fell on Jack, searching for answers. I felt this void, like something important was happening. I just had to come. Mom just told us everything, Jack admitted, the emotional weight still heavy in the air. About Dad, about the affair. The words slipped past his lips, and he braced himself for the fallout. The look of realization on Sarah's face was a stark contrast to the warmth she had always brought to Jack's life. Wow, that's heavy, she murmured, squeezing Jack's hand tightly as if grounding him. I didn't want to shatter your connection to him, Clara whispered, tears shimmering in her eyes. But I have carried the weight of that secret for so long. Jack felt the swell of emotions, a mix of anger and compassion. Could they navigate this together? Mom, we can't hide from the truth anymore. We need to share everything as a family, Jack insisted, his voice steadier. Sarah stepped closer, her strength flowing through him. We won't let this define us. We're all still here, right? We can find a way. Jack watched his family, the fragile connection stretching and seeking to intertwine again. It felt like a delicate dance of vulnerability and love, the air crackling with possibility. Maybe we need to be honest, not just about Dad, but also about us, Ethan said, his voice raw yet earnest, as he gestured back and forth between Jack and Clara. We can't keep pretending everything is okay. We need to confront our truths. Clara nodded, wiping her tears with the back of her hand. It's time to mend the rifts. We've hurt one another, but perhaps we can learn to love better. The room began to pulse with a new energy, hope intertwining with grief, a reminder that change was possible. Jack felt the warmth of Sarah's hand again, anchoring him in this shifting tide. Let us start right now. Let us share what we've missed, what we need, and how to move forward. We're stronger together, even when it hurts. Their mother's laughter was soft and wobbly but somehow filled the crack in the air that potent emotions had forged. You're right. Somehow, I thought by shielding you, I was protecting you. But love is about truth, too. Exactly, Jack encouraged, his heart racing. We don't have to be perfect. We just need to be honest. Ethan met Jack's gaze, a spark of connection igniting between them. Let us lay it all bare for Mom, for ourselves, and for each other. As the four of them settled into a circle, memories unspooled like threads of a tapestry, revealing layers of laughter, tears, and the struggles they had all faced. Jack felt the weight shift, the burdens lessening as they confronted the shadows of their past. Each shared word sent a ripple of healing through them. They embraced the pain, allowing it to bond them rather than tear them apart. Secrets turned into stories, regrets morphed into understanding. Hours slipped by as they found their voices, intertwining history with laughter, shared sorrow with gentle acceptance. The shadows in the corners began to release their grip, all of them feeling a little lighter, a little freer. As the twilight deepened, acknowledgement of their newfound path settled in fragile and tender, but the air was charged with change. This is just the beginning, Jack said, glancing at Sarah, then back at his mother and brother. A realization hung in the atmosphere. They had weathered storms before, but this time, they stood together. And in that moment, Jack understood the meaning of family, a web of love that could conquer even the darkest of nights. His heart swelled with gratitude. They were still alive, still learning, still loving. Now, let us truly find our way forward, he said, allowing hope to pulse through him. In that crowded room, surrounded by the warmth of his family and the promise of a future built on understanding, Jack knew they could face anything together, each choice, each bond a testament to resilience and love. As the last rays of sunlight faded, they wrapped themselves in each other's arms. There was magic in this moment, fragile yet hopeful, a reminder that even amidst chaos and grief, love can prevail. And it was enough. Now, if you feel this story touched your heart, you need to subscribe now to stay connected with all the transformations coming your way. This is the moment to show your support, so hit that like button to fuel our journey together. Share your thoughts and feelings in the comments. What did this mean for you? And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this inspiration. Let us spread these powerful messages far and wide.